G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. How are we all doing today? I'm a little disappointed though. I just came back from work and beforehand it was nice and sunny and now it's a little bit cloudy. Just in time to film, of course. Oh well. Anyway, how are we all doing today, ladies and gents? We are almost at 2,000 subscribers, believe it or not. So, if it's still not past that milestone by the time you're watching this video, do subscribe, say hello, leave a comment down below, and without further ado, let's get into today's video. I didn't mean for that to sound so corny, but here we are. Now today's video, I've done one already on cruiser bikes, and now it's time to upset an entirely other demographic, and that's sports bike riders. And today's question is, why in God's name would anyone buy a sports bike? That's right, I'm looking at you street Rossies, not just the Jigsaw Squids. But yes, sports bikes, what's the point of buying one for the road? Now, I can understand a cruiser bike. Look, they're slow. Sure, they don't handle very well, but they're comfortable for commuting. Naked bikes, they're fast, they're nimble, and they're comfortable for commuting. They're honestly just the perfect daily. And then you've got sports bikes, which are fast, nimble, extremely uncomfortable, and not very good for commuting. Yet everyone loves them anyway. So what's the point? Alright? Now, sports bikes are a bit like supercars, okay? You don't buy them for the idea of keeping them as a comfortable ride around all the time. And now look, there's people that do it, and I'll probably be one of those people one day. But you don't buy a sports bike because you want to have comfort and stuff of the sense. You buy it because you want to be the guy who has the absolute piss missile who can go 0 to 300 in the blink of an eye, you know? 0 to Jesus! Because that's what we really want when it comes to motorbikes. Now, cruiser bikes are not like that, alright? I can tell you firsthand, they're not made for speed, okay? Sure, they have the torque, and this is a Rebel 500-ish, not much torque, but like, cruiser bikes are made for torque, they're not made for speed. Just because someone can hit 200, it's not speed. I'm talking about kilometers an hour, not miles an hour, so it's like 116 miles an hour, something along those lines. They're not made, they're hitting these speed, demon-y speeds, okay? But, ooh, sorry. I got a little distracted with that BFGT over there. Anyway, without further ado, you buy a sports bike, kids, because you want to go fast, okay? Fast. You don't buy a sports bike because you want to be slow and cool. You buy it because you want to be fast. Now, imagine if you bought yourself a naked bike. You could go fast, you could be sexy, but a lot of people don't think they look very nice. Now, obviously, they are wrong, and their opinions mean nothing, but you buy a sports bike, mate, everyone's like, oh. Now, if you're like me before I got into bikes, you probably didn't like it, but when you start riding sports bikes, mate, that's when you go, hello, I'm a speedy boy now. Because I tell you what, sports bikes do one thing, and that's one thing they do well, and that's absolutely getting sent to Jesus and back. Because sports bike riders, well, a lot of the time they have a wish, and it's usually starting with D, and it rhymes with, you know, F. But mate, besides that, let's talk about some negatives. Sports bikes are extremely uncomfortable. Now, you can even witness it right now. There's a lot of wind today, and my bike's wobbling back and forth, but it's by no means anywhere near as intense as the sports bikes. Sports bikes, boys, are like sails. Now, if you're sitting at a stoplight, guess what happens to sails? Woo! They get wobbly like a bad basketball player's knees after they get absolutely crisscrossed. So, obviously, when you're going down the road, you'll feel that breeze if it's a crosswind. But when you're going straight, bikes of that caliber also have the benefit of aerodynamics, okay? Aerodynamics definitely help in the speedy boy things, and also you can tuck in the bubble if it's cold. So you can also, you can just hide. See, I don't have that luxury, as you can feel, or probably, you might be able to hear today, there's a lot of wind. I'm getting bloody pushed around. Now, if I was on a sports bike, I would really be feeling it, but I'm on my cruiser bike, which is nothing in the case of fairings. It's not too bad, but my boy, I can assure you, a sports bike's will be wobbling back and forth. Oh, now I'll tell you what. One benefit of sports bikes is people tend to like them a lot more than every other kind of bike. When you're at a meet, you get the attention, especially if you have something like an R1, an S1000. I'm talking leader bikes, right? 600s are cool, they're sick, but we're talking leader bike class now. They are the bikes that everyone goes, that's sick that you have that thing. Now, if you have a Ducati, obviously you got your McLaren superbike, okay? As everyone says, they're the McLaren of the superbikes. Superbikes, they're in their own class of their own. It's literally just having a supercar at the bike meet. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, I want one of those, man, boy, mate. You could have a Super Duke, everyone's like, that's a bloody death machine, that's a cool bike, okay? But when you have a leader bike of that category, everyone starts going, woo, I want that. So if you have an MT10, sure, it has the R1 engine, but no one's going, I really want that, you know what I mean? Everyone's nutting themselves over the superbikes and the fairings and everything. So the other downside about sports bikes besides the back pain and wrist pain, is, man, sports bike tyres cost an arm and a leg if you want some good ones. Obviously, revving the tits off the bikes, you're always going to be tempted to blast around at Mach Jesus. It's really hard to ride sports bikes sensibly, let's be honest. They're also geared to be revved out, so that's the other thing. So if you want to hit your actual red line, in most cases, you're breaking every speed law known to man. So like most superbikes have the first gear top out at 160-ish. Now imagine being in gear 1 and being able to break all the speed limits in Australia by 50 kilometers an hour at the minimum. So like, they're just a little tempty boys, okay? They want you to do illegal things. Now, if you're a little less experienced, maybe a sports bike of the higher categories aren't for you, because always make sure you rev for the locals. When you rev the crap out of a sports bike from a standstill, there's a high chance of you looping that bitch. So maybe you don't want to do that because, well, death, pain, broken bones, misery, and all that painful stuff that's in between. So maybe if you're not sensible, sports bikes aren't necessarily for you. Now, obviously that argument goes for naked bikes as well, because torque equals wheelies more often than not. So sports bikes got a rev to get to the wheelie, so instead of it being just a wheelie, it's a very smooth power wheelie. Whereas it's a super bike, it's a naked bike, it's more of an instantaneous wheelie. I'm not really enjoying this slow traffic. It's an 80 zone back there and no one does 80. Oh, isn't this a lovely little area? I'll tell you what, there's a lot of wind right now. Woo! But man, I'm telling you, there's no need to buy a sports bike on the road if you're commuting. But the real thing at the end of the day is, if you want to buy a sports bike, you buy it because you enjoy them, okay? You don't buy them because everyone else tells you they're garbage or because they tell you that's great. Most people will tell you sports bikes are fantastic and they're fun, but everyone who gets one will also tell you that they are too powerful for the road. But hey, people buy Ferraris and Lamborghinis and they're too far over the power limit. I have to stop myself swearing there, it's really hard these days. No one buys V8s because they're powerful, they buy them because they sound good. You buy a sports bike for the noise and the ability to go fast, and maybe a few times the zoomies, but it's the ability to do the speed that makes it enjoyable. Having the power at your fingertips and taming the beast, it makes riding it's a whole different element of enjoyment, okay? And I feel like that's a part of riding that a lot of people who complain about the leader bike class don't get. It's not about just being able to go fast all the time, it's about being able to tame the beast, and that's what you want at the end of the day. But yes, I hope this didn't sway any of your opinions on motorbikes, unless it's that you didn't like them, because I was once ignorant and stupid like that. Oh, that's a big bump. Guess what? Oh, actually, that brings me one last point. Sports bike suspension is not usually soft, so guess what? Goodbye your nuts. You brake too hard, goodbye your nuts. You hit a speed bump too hard, goodbye your nuts. And if you're a woman, guess what? Smack. Not fun. But cruiser bikes, comfortable. Not my bike though. This bike is not very soft. It's very firm suspension for a cruiser bike. But anyway, that's all I have time for, ladies and gentlemen. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe for the future. We are aiming for 5,000 subscribers. And I hope you enjoyed. Take it easy, keep it cheesy, and have a good day. Peace, bye.